Welcome to another Kong Show. Once again, we're here at the Pink Cow with film critic Don Morton. How you doing, Don?
I'm severely critical tonight.
And that's what people love about you. You're going to be reviewing films opening this weekend starting
April 10th and 11th.
Which ones will you be reviewing this week?
There are 7 opening this week. They're called Kite, Jimmy, Always by My Side, The Two Faces of January, Magic in the Moonlight, Narco Cult, and Birdman, or The Unexpected Virtue of Innocence.
Worst first?
Yep.
All right, well, let's get right to it. Where do we start?
Okay, in 1998, Yasuomi Umetsu made this infamous hour-long, ultra-controversial, child-raping, super-violent film. It's a cult fave about an orphan and abused schoolgirl who turns assassin. This is a desexualized, toned-down, live-action treatment here, but the exploitative attitude remains. The hook here is that Samuel L. Jackson is in it, but the guy is sleepwalking. He seems so distracted that it's like he's thinking about how he's going to spend the paycheck that he's getting for this movie. It's a dreary, Sin City cheapo ripoff. It's mean-spirited just for the sake of being mean-spirited. It's obvious, it's repetitive, and it's just plain boring.
Torture porn?
No, it's not even that. It's
Wow.
been toned down so much that even torture porn fans were not going to like it.
What category would you put this film in?
Trash.
That was a good one. Next movie is about Jimi Hendrix?
That's right.
I'm assuming there's a great soundtrack for this movie.
No, there's no soundtrack because the director, John Ridley, was unable to get clearance from the Jimi Hendrix estate to use the music. But this turns out to be a plus because paradoxically, it made him focus on the year and a half just before he got famous, 1966, 1967, when he was discovered as a New York City sideman called Jimmy James by Keith Richards' girlfriend, Linda Keith, played, by the way, by a terrific Imogen Poots.
Wow.
And she introduced him to the guy that would be his manager, and he turned into the influential legend that he still is today.
Yeah.
He's played by Andre Benjamin of Outkast.
Andre 2000.
He aces the title role, even though he's 10 years older than Jimmy was. He plays the role with intuition and flair. There's one scene where just after Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album came out, they were doing a concert, and 2 of the Beatles were in the audience.
Wow.
And just on a whim, they opened with a cover, a Jimi Hendrix cover of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. It's the musical highlight of the movie.
So you actually hear Jimi Hendrix performing Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band?
Well, you hear Andre Benjamin doing it, which is pretty close.
I see. And the Beatles gave clearance for their song to
Apparently
be
so,
in this movie.
because it's in the movie.
Did Andre 2000 play the guitar like Jimmy?
He plays pretty well. I don't know if it was real or dubbed, but I think he probably did a pretty good job.
All right. Moving on. The next film is called...
For some reason, it's called The Two Faces of January. Don't ask me why. It's from a Patricia Highsmith novel about an Oedipal triangle.
Edible?
Oedipal, as in Oedipus Rex.
Ah, got it.
It's 1962. Viggo Mortensen plays Chester, a shady middle-aged American businessman vacationing in Greece, spending his investors' money, apparently, with a much younger wife played by Kirsten Dunst. He accidentally kills the PI that's sent to sniff him out, and he enlists the help of this young Greek-American guy played by Oscar Isaac, who is clearly attracted to his wife, and tangled webs are weaved. This is highly atmospheric. Not a lot happens, but what does happen is really done well. It's a suspenser.
The next one is called...
Magic in the Moonlight. This is Woody Allen's annual contribution.
He's back.
Now, I'm a fan of Woody Allen's. I think
too.
even mediocre Woody Allen movies are better than most of what's out there, but sometimes they can be disappointing, and that's the case here. It starts out strong. It's 1928. Colin Firth plays a stage musician who's also sidelines as a noted paranormal debunker. And he's called to the south of France to poke holes in the amazingly accurate prognostications of a pretty young American clairvoyant played by Emma Stone.
Okay.
So far, so good.
And he debunks her?
He does not. She debunks him. He starts to believe that she's the real thing, and he falls in love with her, and the movie immediately loses all momentum and any magic that it might have had. It's threadbare, it's predictable, it feels off the rack.
So you're saying there is no magic in the Moonlight?
There's no magic in the Moonlight.
It's a Woody Allen film, so did you laugh?
Occasionally, but not as much as I normally would.
Did you hear others in the theater laughing?
Not a lot.
Next movie is Narco Cult. What?
Narco Cultura.
What language is that?
That's Spanish, but there are English and Japanese subtitles.
And this movie is about what?
You ever been to El Paso? It's one of the safest cities in the United States.
Used to live there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It had 4 murders last year.
Yeah, very safe.
Across the river is Ciudad Juarez.
Yes, indeed.
And guess how many murders they had last year?
400.
4,000.
1,000?
Yes.
Wow.
This is a quietly subversive documentary. It looks at the situation through the eyes of 2 completely different Mexican people. One is an increasingly popular rapper twerp whose job it is to write and sing songs that praise the beheadings and the kidnappings of these vicious mega gangs, these cartels.
Good soundtrack?
Only if you like the narco cultura. The other is a hardworking crime scene investigator who is called a bullet collector because these guys go out and they're threatened, their lives are threatened. They go out to pick up the bodies and they investigate and log all the evidence, and then everything is just completely ignored by their superiors who've obviously been bribed. This is absorbing and it's depressing.
A lot of sex, violence, drugs, guns, girls.
A lot of deaths.
That is depressing.
Yeah, but I think it's something that should be seen.
You do?
Yeah.
A date movie?
Thinking date movie.
Next film is called Birdman. This one got the Best Picture Oscar.
That's right, and I think it's intellectually active. It's an ensemble showbiz dramedy. It earned all the praise it's getting. The cinematography is just amazing. The acting is superb. The editing is superhuman. The script is sharp. The comedy is angry, and the percussive soundtrack is just spot on.
Percussive soundtrack?
All the background music is drum solos.
Like what we're hearing right now?
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. It's a self-aware concept of having a former Hollywood superhero portrayer trying to regain his acting cred, playing a former Hollywood superhero portrayer trying to regain his acting cred. Michael Keaton used to be Batman, and he hasn't done a lot of note since, so this is his chance to get back respect as an actor, and that's the kind of person that he's playing in the movie. It's brilliant.
I heard this movie was done all in one shot. Is that correct?
No, it's done to look like it was done in all one long shot.
Could you tell where the edits were?
Sure. It goes down some dark hallways every now and then, and that's where the edits are joined. But that's not the point. Everybody knows it's not one long shot because nobody shoots a 2-hour movie in 2 hours.
Okay, well, that's what I thought. But others who have seen the movie said it looked like it was all done in one shot.
The key phrase is "look like."
I see. Okay. Now, Don, you always find fault with films, so what was wrong with this movie?
Well, okay, it was an interesting concept, and it's dazzling, but it kind of distracts from the narrative. Inarritu, the director, makes it work, this gimmicky joyride work, but it still had kind of a film school, look at me feel to it. Secondly, none of the characters are particularly likable, and that's probably intentional, but there's no emotional punch at the end because of that. This movie will be remembered as a brilliant technical experiment. Bottom line, it's one of those movies that's easier to admire than it is to enjoy.
Worth seeing?
Absolutely.
Did it deserve the Best Picture Oscar?
No.
Well, short, simple, to the point.
Yep.
What film was better than Birdman?
I thought Boyhood should have got it.
Yeah, I did too. Well, we're here at the Pink Cow, where you love to have
a chicken and black bean burrito.
Is that what you're going to have this time?
Si.
Of course, the Pink Cow is located right across the street from
Don Quixote in Roppongi.
And from time to time, they have veggie buffets here. Mm-hmm. Plus, they have live music and all kinds of performances as well.
It's one of the few decent places to go in Roppongi anymore.
What do you think about the price points here? Affordable?
Absolutely.
Would you recommend this place to your friends and fans?
I would, especially for parties. I had my birthday party here a few months ago, and it was just a super success and not expensive.
All right, Don Morton, film critic from Metropolis Magazine. Once again, thank you a lot, and see you next week.
Thank you.